In this edition of the Bucs Daily MinuteCast, your Tampa Bay Buccaneers take down the Dallas Cowboys 19-3. There are injuries out there to be concerned about with Chris Godwin and Donovan Smith. What does this mean for your Tampa Bay Buccaneers? We'll talk about all of that and more next on this late night edition of the Bucs Daily MinuteCast. Keep it right here.
MinuteCast Media.
10,000!
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers MinuteCast starts right now.
Bucs on 3, 1, 2, 3, Bucs!
This is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers MinuteCast.
Well, hello and welcome into this late night edition of the Bucs Daily MinuteCast. I'm so glad you decided to join me today. As always, this podcast is free and available on all the major platforms. So when you're using your podcatcher of choice, make sure and hit that follow or subscribe button. That way you will know when the new episodes are available. My name is Dan Holme. You can find me on Twitter. It's at DanCaps218. You can find this podcast on the Bucs Report. Check them out online, bucsreport.com. You can find this podcast on YouTube. And then you can also find this podcast wherever you find your audio podcasts. This episode is brought to you by Manscaped. Get 20% off at Manscaped plus free shipping with promo code MinuteCast at manscaped.com. That's get 20% off at manscaped.com plus free shipping with promo code MinuteCast. So in this episode, it is a late night episode as your Tampa Bay Buccaneers take down the Dallas Cowboys in game one of the season, 19-3. And, it wasn't one of the games that kind of really went according to script. Tom Brady only got one touchdown in the game. He got one pass, that one touchdown, and for 212 yards. And the frustration that was on his face out there in just that moment when he got up in Hainsey's grill and was just yelling at him is something that I won't forget. And I think that we're starting to see some of that center position depth come into focus. I thought that, when Ryan Jensen got injured, I think they could just plug in Hainsey and everything would be good to go. Well, I think that to a certain extent, Hainsey got a bit exposed tonight. But in any case, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers went in and they ended up picking up the big win today. And that's what it's about at the end of the day. The big important thing is that the Bucs did get the win. All right, so just in some news surrounding the Bucs here, that Donovan Smith has an elbow injury and his return is questionable. So Josh Wells is going to see a lot of Micah Parsons in the game, and that was the case. And Donovan Smith is another one of those guys out there. He's a bit of a four-leaf clover. You can't just plug and play these guys, with anyone. So we really hope that Donovan Smith, as I record this program at 10:54 Central, the most recent news that I have is that he is still injured. And I guess that remains to be seen, what the extent of that injury is. I know that he was getting an x-ray done, and I guess we will find out probably tomorrow, most likely. Donovan Smith is injured on the sack of Brady by Micah Parsons, but walks off under his own power. Bucs not finishing drives. Brady is 7 for 9 for 99 yards, 13 rushing attempts in the game for Tampa. Todd Bowles says Julio Jones is a warrior who is going to come out and compete every game. And that was the refreshing thing out there, to see Julio Jones, like the Julio Jones, remember from years ago, just really playing in top form. And, I think that was a great acquisition for the Bucs to go out and pick him up, especially when you look at all the injuries out there. If you take a look at the injury to Godwin and all these other injuries, it really makes sense that the Bucs and Jason Licht went out and made these acquisitions. Todd Bowles said the Buccaneers ran as much as they did because they were taking what the Cowboys were giving them, and watching the game, that was kind of the consensus as watching this at home. And the thought was, well, why isn't he passing the football more? Well, if you take a look at it, there wasn't a lot of opportunities. So that is true. What Todd Bowles was saying is that you can only pass when there's plays available, because the last thing that you want to have happen in these situations is well, why didn't you pass the football more? Why didn't you pass the football more? And then guess what happens? All of a sudden you start throwing into what they call high danger areas, and then next thing you know, there's interceptions, and then all of a sudden people would be saying, well, why did you pass the football to this guy? He was double or triple covered. So in that case, I think that it's the wise decision, and Leonard Fournette really kind of stood up and did a really good job. Head coach Todd Bowles said the biggest thing about tonight's great defensive performance was communication. Gave credit to Lavonte, David, and Devin White for leading that. And Devin White is so much fun to watch out there. He got a couple sacks out there tonight, and then he gets on his horse and rides around there. Devin White is definitely one of my favorites on the team, and the tandem of Lavonte and Devin White working together, they always do such an excellent job. Devin White had 2 sacks tonight. It's the 5th time he has recorded 2 or more sacks in a game. Leonard Fournette's 127 rushing yards tonight are the most in a game since he joined the Bucs. He averaged a robust 6.0 yards per carry, and that was kind of a bit of one of those interesting things out there, is that Leonard Fournette saw the bulk of all the running back plays out there. I mean, Rachaad White was out there a little bit, but, to a certain extent, I'm like, I don't, maybe because there wasn't enough of a passing game out there that they knew that Leonard Fournette was the number one guy out there, that's why they wanted to go with him. But, that you think that they would have gone with another running back that they had out there, especially, Rachaad White in his limited play. I guess you could say he did a good job out there, but, just to spread that out a little bit, because there was that one play that Leonard Fournette got up kind of gingerly. So I think they kind of have to, take it easy and kind of split this up a little bit. This is, after all, the first game of the season. All right, and some notes that I have from the game, just to start it off here. Carlton Davis playing big early, and we cannot underestimate the role that Carlton Davis plays on this team. He played big, and they really needed him to step up and play big, and he did that. And then in the first possession, Dallas gets a field goal. Brady starts at a 25-yard pass. Godwin first down, first possession, 25 yards. Brady 2 for 2, pass to Mike Evans, suck up field goal for 44 yards. Big stop by the Bucs as Dallas has to punt it away. Darden returns it 31 yards, and Darden is another one out there that, I don't know what the master plan is for him. I don't know if he's always going to be the one that's doing all the punt returning and that kind of thing, but they kind of did that last year. Is he really the best guy for the job? I guess that remains to be seen. I know they've talked about having different guys out there like Scotty Miller or someone else do it. I'm not really sold on Darden, I guess, as that guy. I guess it remains to be seen if, he continues to get the bulk of the mail there. All right, so after the break, we're going to continue to break down the game from tonight. What went right and what went wrong? We'll talk about that next. All right, and now a word from our sponsor at Manscaped. Football is back. We're back to seeing Brady sling beautiful balls all over the field, and our friends at Manscaped are here to help you sling your beautiful balls all season long. With Manscaped's state-of-the-art technology, we'll have your weapon looking more loaded than the NFC South. Football may be rough, but your ball care doesn't have to be with Manscaped. Join the 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping with promo code MinuteCast. Meet the best valued bundle yet, the Manscaped's Pocket Rockets, the Platinum Package. At quarterback, the Lawnmower 4.0, a wily vet who makes sure the unit is running smooth and scoring top-notch with proprietary advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower limits mistakes and protects the ball, plus it's waterproof so the weather conditions are no issue. At running back, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer built to bust through all the right holes. A hairless nostril just helps it keep a nose for the end zone. On the offensive line, we have our unsung heroes, the Crop Preserver, Ball Deodorant, and Crop Reviver, standing strong to keep your boys fresh and clean through all 4 quarters. At wideout, the cleanest duo in the league, the Ultra Premium Body Wash and Ultra Premium 2-in-1 Plus Conditioner. With their rugged scent, they attract both the ball and the ladies in the crowd. Plus, these two leave your skin and scalp feeling more hydrated. That means more plays on the field and less water breaks. At tight end, the product that makes your end look tight, Manscaped's anti-chafing boxer briefs, a dedicated jewel pouch to increase ball handling and a cool, steady vibe thanks to their moisture-wicking fabric. On defense, there's only one thing you need, the aluminum-free Ultra Premium deodorant with refined cologne quality fragrance. It keeps sweat and locker room scents from making any ground. Plus, it dries clear so the opponent won't even know what hit them. To top it all off, we throw in the best coach in the league, the Shed travel bag, as a free bonus. Built to hold the team together, this travel size bag has a fumble resistant zipper. And guys, let me tell you something. You spend all the time in the world making sure you look good above the waist. That's why they have the nose hair trimmer from Manscaped. It works well. It's not like the one that you get from the big box store where it gets dull right away or it breaks right away. Go to Manscaped, top-notch quality, plus for below the waist. That's right, guys out there. If you're trying to impress the lady in your life, that is why you need the ball trimmer here. When you take a look at it, there is a staggering statistic out there that says some men use the same razor on their face as they do on their balls. That's disgusting. Go get one from Manscaped so you can have one for that purpose. Also, they have the Manscaped's Crop Reviver Ball Toner. It is what it sounds like. And the Manscaped Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant. When you're getting physical with your lady, you don't want her to smell some nasty balls. That is why you need Manscaped. So, this has got to be the Super Bowl winning roster, but don't take my word for it. Go to manscaped.com and get 20% off and free shipping with promo code MinuteCast. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com when you use promo code MINUTECAST. Manscaped, for turning your player into an MVP. All right, welcome back to this late night edition of the Bucs Daily MinuteCast. I'm so glad you decided to join me today, and thank you for Manscaped for stepping up and sponsoring these independent podcasts. So, your Tampa Bay Buccaneers take down the Dallas Cowboys 19-3. Like I talked about earlier, it wasn't quite the result that we looked for out there. There were some big things of note: Chris Godwin injury, and also the injury to Donovan Smith. Also, standout players was Julio Jones and Devin White. As far as Godwin and Donovan Smith go, we really hope that they are, in fact, able to return because they play such an integral role on this team. But other standout players, Mike Evans really stepped up when Chris Godwin was out. 71 yards, 1 touchdown. Julio Jones, 3 receptions, 69 yards. Chris Godwin, 3 receptions, 35 yards. Russell Gage, 2 receptions rather, and 13 yards. And Leonard Fournette, 2 receptions and 10 yards. And then Rachaad White, who is, he is going to be one of the faces on the team in the future that you're going to see more and more out there. I think that, in his limited play, he did what he could do, 2 receptions for 7 yards. So just taking a look out there, like I said, it wasn't quite, the first game that we were looking for. We were hoping that Tom Brady would be out there slinging footballs down there and getting touchdowns left and right. As it turns out, he only got 1 touchdown on the night. And, the frustration was one of the things that I was talking about. Just the look on his face when he was up and he had his face right up in Hainsey's grill, just screaming at him, like, you're going to have to step up. This is why we didn't want you out there in the first place. This is why we need Ryan Jensen out there. So those are the kind of things that are going to have to be addressed. Listen, Tom Brady came back here to win another Super Bowl. He didn't want to waste his time, playing with these Bush League players. So that is what's going to happen in this next game coming up, is the Bucs are really going to have to dial it in. And if Hainsey's not the right guy for the job, then they're going to have to find the right guy for the job out there, because that's what it's all about. Ryan Suckup out there too, did a pretty good job for the most part out there. He missed one of the field goals that comes to mind. And that was one of the ones where I'm like, he got field goals that were from a greater distance. And then, he missed one of the ones that was closer up. And then the other thing of note for me was Jalen Darden, like I talked about earlier. I am not totally convinced that he is the guy to be the punt returner for the team. I think there are better options out there. If you're asking me for a guy that would do a better job at that, for me, it would be Scotty Miller. I think that he's the fastest guy on the team, but for whatever reason, the way they've kind of sussed it out, they don't really think that Scotty Miller is the right guy to be doing the returns out there. But that's my big takeaways from the game, and I'll have more updates for you in the coming days. Here is that we just got Chris Godwin back. We really do not need to have him out for any substantial time. And kind of what they're talking about there is that it is a hamstring injury. Kind of what it looked like to me. The first thing, the kind of moment was that, he aggravated his knee. And then the other big one out there is Donovan Smith, where they're going to have an x-ray on his elbow and his arm to make sure everything's all right there, because Donovan Smith is one of those big guys out there that plays a big role, kind of an unsung hero. He's not one of the guys out there that, is catching touchdowns, and he's not, Tom Brady slinging the ball out there, but he plays a huge role for this team, and we really hope that we can get both of those players back. All right, once again, thank you for joining me on this late night edition of the Bucs Daily MinuteCast. Once again, get 20% off at Manscaped and free shipping with promo code MinuteCast at manscaped.com. But a win is a win at the end of the day, and your Tampa Bay Buccaneers get a W at the end of the day, and they take down the Dallas Cowboys. It wasn't, the decisive win that we were looking for, but we're hoping for a better game next week. All right, once again, thank you for joining me on this edition of the Bucs Daily MinuteCast, and I'll talk to you next time.